3 months ago, I did something terrible. I told my husband I was pregnant, but it was a lie. I was not pregnant. I have never been pregnant. And now, I don't know how to tell him the truth. My husband's name is Daniel. We have been married for 6 years. For the last 2 years, our marriage was dying. Daniel was cold and distant. He came home late every night. He stopped touching me. He stopped looking at me. I felt invisible in my own home. Hello everyone, I'm Sophia, and wow, welcome back. If you're new here, let me tell you what we do. I share real and emotional stories sent by listeners from all around the world. And these aren't just any stories, they're about love, loss, difficult choices, and everything in between. The best part. These stories can help you learn English and reflect on life at the same time. So you're not just improving your English, you're also connecting with real human experiences. And honestly, that's what makes this so special. Oh, and if you enjoy this content, please don't forget to like the video. It really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we share new stories every week. And I'd love to hear from you, so share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with the choices people make? Would you do things differently? Let me know. All right, now let's begin today's story. I am 32 years old. 3 months ago, I did something terrible. I told my husband I was pregnant, but it was a lie. I was not pregnant. I have never been pregnant. And now, I don't know how to tell him the truth. Every morning I wake up and the weight of this lie crushes me. I look at my husband sleeping next to me and I feel sick, not because of pregnancy, but because of guilt. My husband's name is Daniel. We have been married for 6 years. The first 4 years were beautiful. We were happy. We laughed together. We made plans for the future. But something changed 2 years ago. Daniel became different. He was cold and distant. He came home late every night. He stopped touching me. He stopped looking at me. I felt invisible in my own home. It was like living with a ghost. I tried everything to fix our marriage. I cooked his favorite meals. I wore pretty dresses. I asked him to talk to me, but nothing worked. Daniel was there, but he was not really there. His body was in our home, but his mind was somewhere else. Every night, I went to bed alone. Even when he was lying next to me, I felt the space between us growing bigger and bigger. I was losing him, and I did not know why. One night in June, everything became clear. Daniel left his phone on the kitchen table. It was late, and he was in the shower. The phone screen lit up with a message. I should not have looked. I know that, but I was desperate. I picked up the phone and I saw her name, Rebecca. I opened the messages and my heart broke. They were not romantic messages yet, but I could see it. I could feel it. My husband was falling in love with another woman. I sat on the kitchen floor and cried. I held that phone in my hands and I felt my whole world falling apart. 6 years of marriage, 6 years of love and promises. And now there was Rebecca. A woman from his office, a woman who made him smile again, a woman who had what I lost. I needed to do something. I needed to bring Daniel back to me. That night, sitting on that cold kitchen floor, I made a decision. A terrible, desperate decision that would change everything. The next morning, I woke up with a plan. A terrible plan, but a plan. I could not lose Daniel. I could not let Rebecca take him away from me. I needed something big, something that would make him stay, something that would remind him of our life together. Then I remembered something my friend told me once. She said her sister saved her marriage by getting pregnant. The baby brought her husband back. Maybe a baby could bring Daniel back to me too. But there was one problem. I was not pregnant. Daniel and I had not been intimate in months. He always said he was too tired. He always had an excuse, so I could not get pregnant naturally. Not now, not fast enough, but I needed Daniel to believe I was pregnant. I needed him to think we were having a baby, so I decided to fake it. I know how crazy that sounds. I know how wrong it was. But I was desperate, and desperate people do terrible things. That afternoon, I went to the pharmacy near my office. I bought a pregnancy test. My hands were shaking when I paid for it. The cashier smiled at me and said, "Good luck." I felt sick. I put the test in my bag and went to visit my friend Sarah. Sarah was 4 months pregnant with her second baby. I told her I needed a favor. I told her I wanted to surprise Daniel. I asked her to take the pregnancy test for me so I could see what it looked like positive. Sarah looked confused, but she agreed. She thought it was a strange surprise, but she did not ask too many questions. She went to the bathroom and took the test. 5 minutes later, she came back with 2 pink lines on the stick. Positive. I took a photo of it with my phone. I thanked Sarah and left quickly. On the drive home, I looked at that photo on my phone. To pink lines, to pink lies. I felt horrible, but I could not stop now. I was already too far into this plan. That evening, Daniel came home at 9 o'clock. Late again, he barely looked at me when he walked in. He went straight to the kitchen to get water. I followed him. My heart was beating so fast. I took out my phone and showed him the photo. I said, "We need to talk." I said, "I took a pregnancy test today." I said, "I am pregnant." For a moment, Daniel just stared at the photo. He did not move. He did not breathe. Then suddenly, his face changed completely. His eyes filled with tears. He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time in years. He smiled. He actually smiled. Daniel hugged me so tight that night. He cried on my shoulder. He said he was so happy. He said this was the best news of his life. He said this baby would change everything for us. He kissed my forehead and held my face in his hands. He looked at me with so much love. Love I had not seen in 2 years. In that moment, I almost told him the truth. I almost said it was all a lie. But I could not. I could not lose this moment. I could not lose him again. Everything changed overnight. Daniel became a different person. He became the man I married 6 years ago. He came home early from work every single day. He cooked dinner for me. He asked me how I was feeling. He touched my belly, even though there was nothing there. He talked about baby names while we ate. He said if it was a boy, he wanted to name him after his father. If it was a girl, maybe Emma or Sophia. He was so excited, so present, so mine again. Daniel stopped texting Rebecca. I checked his phone one night when he was sleeping. The messages with her had stopped completely. The last message was from her asking if he wanted to get coffee. He never replied. He was done with her. My plan had worked. The fake pregnancy had saved my marriage. But every day, the lie grew bigger and heavier. It was like carrying a stone in my chest. A stone that got heavier every time Daniel smiled at me. Every time he said he loved me. I had to pretend I had pregnancy symptoms. I read articles online about what pregnant women feel. I said I felt sick in the mornings. I ran to the bathroom and pretended to throw up. I said I was tired all the time. I took naps in the afternoon. I bought loose clothes and said my regular clothes did not fit anymore. Daniel was so caring. He brought me crackers for the morning sickness. He let me sleep while he did the housework. He was the perfect husband for a pregnant wife. But I was not pregnant. I was just a liar. The worst part was everyone else. Daniel told his family immediately. His mother called me crying with joy. She said she had been waiting for this moment for years. She asked me questions about the pregnancy. When was I due? Did I want a boy or a girl? What did the doctor say? I had to lie to her too. I had to lie to everyone. Daniel's friends threw us a surprise party. They brought gifts for the baby. Little shoes and blankets and toys. I smiled and thanked them. But inside, I was dying. Every gift was a reminder of my lie. Every smile was a knife in my heart. 2 months passed like this. 2 months of pretending. 2 months of lying every single day. Daniel was the happiest I had ever seen him. He painted the extra room in our apartment blue. He said he had a feeling it would be a boy. He bought a crib and put it together himself. He spent hours reading parenting books. At night, he would fall asleep with his hand on my belly. He would whisper to the baby that was not there. He would say, "Daddy loves you already." Every word broke my heart a little more, but the lies were getting harder to maintain. Daniel wanted to come to the doctor with me. He wanted to see the ultrasound. He wanted to hear the baby's heartbeat. He was so excited about it. I kept making excuses. I said the doctor was too busy. I said I wanted to wait until the second trimester. I said I wanted to surprise him with the ultrasound photo. But Daniel was starting to get suspicious. He asked me why I always went to the doctor alone. He asked me why I never had any ultrasound pictures. I could see doubt in his eyes sometimes. I created fake doctor appointments in my calendar. I would leave the house and drive to a coffee shop. I would sit there for an hour and then come home. I would tell Daniel everything went well. I would say the baby was healthy and growing. I even looked up normal pregnancy measurements online so I could tell him specific details. The baby is 10 centimeters long now. The baby weighs about 200 grams. The heartbeat is strong. Daniel would smile and kiss me, and I would feel like the worst person in the world. Last week, something happened that made everything worse. We were at Daniel's parents' house for Sunday dinner. The whole family was there. His sister Anna arrived late. She looked excited about something. During dinner, Anna stood up and made an announcement. She said she was pregnant too. She was 8 weeks along. Everyone started screaming and clapping. Daniel's mother was crying happy tears. She said she could not believe she would have 2 grandchildren at the same time. It was like a dream come true for her. Daniel put his hand on my belly at the table. He looked at Anna and smiled. He said our babies would grow up together like cousins should. They would be best friends. He said it was perfect timing. His eyes were shining with happiness and hope. Everyone was looking at us. Everyone was celebrating, and I felt like I was suffocating. I excused myself and went to the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked at my flat belly under my loose dress. Anna was really pregnant. Her baby was real. Mine was not. This lie had gone too far. Way too far. That night, after the family dinner, I could not sleep. I lay in bed next to Daniel and watched him sleep. He looked so peaceful, so happy. His hand was resting on my belly like it always did now. In a few weeks, Anna would start showing. People would see her belly growing, but mine would stay flat. In a few months, Anna would have her baby, and I would have nothing. No baby, no explanation, just lies. I realized then that I could not keep doing this. The truth would come out eventually. It always do, and the longer I waited, the worse it would be. I spent 3 days planning what to say. I wrote it down on paper. I deleted it. I wrote it again. How do you tell someone that everything was a lie? How do you tell your husband that the baby he loves does not exist? That the future he is planning will never happen? I knew this conversation would destroy him. I knew it would destroy us, but I had no choice anymore. The lie was bigger than me now. It was crushing me. I could not breathe under the weight of it. Yesterday evening, I finally told him. We were sitting in the living room after dinner. The blue baby room was right behind us. I could see the crib through the open door. I told Daniel I needed to talk to him about something important. He smiled and said, of course. He thought maybe I wanted to talk about baby names again. He had no idea what was coming. I took a deep breath. I said, I have to tell you something and it is going to hurt. I said, I am not pregnant. I have never been pregnant. The test was fake. Everything was a lie. Daniel just stared at me. He did not move. He did not speak. I kept talking because the silence was killing me. I told him about finding the messages with Rebecca. I told him how scared I was of losing him. I told him I was desperate. I told him I faked the pregnancy test. I told him about Sarah. I told him everything. When I finished, Daniel still did not say anything. He sat there for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. Then slowly, he stood up. His face was empty. Blank, like someone had turned off a light inside him. Daniel walked to our bedroom without looking at me. I followed him. I was crying and saying I was sorry over and over, but he did not respond. He pulled out a bag from the closet. He started putting clothes in it. I asked him what he was doing. He said he needed to leave. He said he needed time to think. He said he did not know who I was anymore. His voice was so cold, so distant, just like it was before the fake pregnancy, maybe even colder. He zipped up the bag and walked past me. He stopped at the door and turned around. He said, "You broke me, Laura." Then he left. 3 days have passed since Daniel left. He is staying at his brother's house. He answers my calls, but the conversations are short. His voice is empty. He says he does not know if he can forgive this. He says he does not know if he can trust me again. His mother called me yesterday. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. She said I broke her son's heart. She said she would never forgive me for this. She hung up before I could say anything. Anna sent me a text message. She said she felt sick knowing her pregnancy announcement happened while I was lying. She said she did not want to see me anymore. I sit in our apartment now, alone. The blue baby room is still there. The crib is still there. The baby clothes are still in the closet. Daniel said I should throw everything away, but I cannot do it yet. These things are evidence of my lie, evidence of how desperate I was, evidence of how far I went to keep a man who was already leaving me. One saved my marriage for 2 months, but I destroyed it forever. Daniel may come back one day. He may forgive me, but he will never trust me again. And without trust, what do we have? I have learned something from this terrible mistake. You cannot build love on lies. You cannot save something by destroying it. If someone is leaving you, a lie will not make them stay. Not really, not forever. Daniel fell in love with the idea of being a father. He fell in love with the future that did not exist. He did not fall back in love with me. And now I have lost him completely. Not to Rebecca, not to another woman. I lost him to my own lie, to my own desperation, to my own fear. People ask me what I will do now. I do not have an answer. I do not know if Daniel will come back. I do not know if we can fix this broken marriage. All I know is that I made a terrible choice. I thought I was saving my marriage, but really, I was just delaying the end. And I made the end so much worse, so much more painful for Daniel, for his family, for me. If I could go back, I would do everything differently. I would let him go. I would accept that our marriage was over, because sometimes holding on too tight is what makes you lose everything. Wow, that was intense, wasn't it? Every time I share one of these stories, I'm reminded of how complex life can be. You know, I truly believe that every story has something to teach us. Sometimes it's about love, sometimes it's about loss, and sometimes it's just about being human and making difficult choices. So, what do you think about today's story? I really want to know your opinion. Do you agree with the choices that were made? Would you do things differently? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one, and honestly, I love reading your perspectives. Sometimes you guys see things that I completely miss. Oh, and if this story touched your heart, if you felt something while listening, please give it a like. It really helps more people discover these stories. And don't forget to subscribe. We share new emotional stories every week. And trust me, we have some incredible ones coming up. And if you have your own story you'd like to share, something that's been on your mind or weighing on your heart, send it to me. You never know, your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. Take care of yourselves, okay? And remember, life is complicated, but we're all doing our best. See you in the next story.